Longtime CBS News and 60 Minutes correspondent Bob Simon died in a car accident in New York City last night. CBS 4's Walter McCullough looks back on Bob Simon's life. Walter.
Elliot, Simon was in the rear seat of a Lincoln Town car when it crashed into a Mercedes, then lost control and plowed into a concrete lane divider. Emergency crews had to cut the top of that Lincoln off to free Simon and his driver, who suffered injuries to his legs and arms.
It's hard to believe that a reporter who survived close calls in war zones around the world, even 40 days as a prisoner of war in Iraq, would die in a car accident in New York City.
General, call me a fool.
No, I won't.
Bob Simon was a legendary newsman, a gifted storyteller honored with 27 Emmy Awards, a Fulbright scholar and one-time Foreign Service officer with that distinct, powerful voice of truth.
Soldiers and teenagers were playing catch with tear gas grenades.
And he looked so dashing. I mean, he was the epitome of a foreign correspondent. He was brave. He would go places where you probably shouldn't have gone.
Simon came to CBS in 1967. 4 years later, he moved to Saigon to cover the Vietnam War. He was on one of the last helicopters to leave Saigon in 1975 as it fell.
Wounded by war.
He'd built a career in war zones around the world and had his share of close calls along the way.
And we saw a Jeep in the distance, and it was an Iraqi Army Jeep, and they took us away.
During the first Gulf War in 1991, Simon and 3 other members of his CBS News crew were taken prisoner by the Iraqi military and held as POWs in Iraqi prisons for 40 days. Simon joined 60 Minutes in 1996. This was his 19th season on the broadcast. Simon's most recent piece for 60 Minutes aired just this past weekend, where he spoke to the director of the Academy Award-nominated film Selma. Bob Simon was 73 years old.
And Simon is survived by his wife and their daughter Tanya, who is a producer for 60 Minutes. Simon's final story on the Ebola virus will air this Sunday night on 60 Minutes. Walter McCullough, CBS 4 News.